I recently went to Bali, and every time I go on holiday, everything revolves around food. And this is a recipe that I picked up, and it is simply delicious. It's a duck curry. Now, there's a lot of different ingredients in it, but I tell you what, after cooking it in a pressure cooker, it is simply delicious. So to start with, I have 4 duck legs here, okay? And we just want to open the pack and dry them off quite well. Now, when I was in Bali, I did a cooking class, and this is something that inspired me. We did this beautiful long braise of duck. We also did a pork curry. We did a roast suckling pig. I mean, the list is endless on what we learned. This one was a standout for me, and I know I'll keep this in my repertoire for a long time. So once we've dried these off, no oil required, and I'm just going to seal it in the pan to start with. The reason I'm doing this, I want to get as much fat out of that as possible, so render the fat, and then we're going to cook it in the second stage. So while that's cooking, let's get on to our curry paste. So for the curry paste, there are a lot of ingredients here, but they're all worth it. So to start with, I've got 1 knob of ginger, and we're going to do this all in the blender to make life a lot easier. So we're just going to cut that in 4 pieces with 2 chilies. Now, these are long chilies, so it's not too spicy. This is not an intense curry, so 2 is plenty for this. In it goes with 6 cloves of garlic. So I've peeled those already. And galangal. Galangal, I thought, was used quite a lot in Indonesian food. It's very similar to ginger, but I find it's got even more of a fragrant flavour, quite floral, in fact. And in that goes. And some lemongrass. Now, I just want to use the base of the lemongrass here because that's where all the flavour is. I don't want the woody stalk here. So we've also got some French shallots, or just purple shallots, and we're cutting those in half. And in that goes. Now, this is a really chunky paste. It's not supposed to be smooth, okay? So we are actually just going to really roughly blend this. Last thing, one of my favourites, turmeric. And if you can get your hands on fresh turmeric, use it. I'm not even taking the skin off this one. I'm just going to grate that on my microplane like so. So probably about half of this in to our blender, and we should check on our duck over here. So you can see how there's a lot of the duck fat there. It's all rendering off, so that's fantastic because I don't want our curry to be too fatty, okay? So this is a really good idea to do this. And you can see we're even getting crispy skin at this stage. So let's turn that around, and I've turned the heat off, okay? Because we don't want to cook the duck at this stage. Just seal it off, just render that fat. And I'm actually going to use a little bit of that fat to loosen up this paste here. So back to the paste, I've got some candle nuts here, and you can get these at all good Asian grocers. I've got 3. In they go with some fish paste, and fish paste, not the most attractive smell, to be honest, but it does give it a really unique flavour. So we want a teaspoon of fish paste. You could also substitute that for some fish sauce if you don't have. Also, soy sauce, 2 teaspoons of that in there just for some saltiness. So the fish paste is salty and the soy sauce, so we don't need any salt whatsoever. And I've got some cumin seeds here, straight in, along with some sweetness, so just some palm sugar, and 1/4 cup of water, and that's just going to bind everything. And I want some of that duck fat, so we're just going to take some out of this pan. Look, I'm using 4 duck legs, but in Bali, when we did this recipe in the class, we actually used a whole duck, cut it down into 8 pieces. So that's another lovely way if you're wanting to use the whole duck. So 1 tablespoon of this duck fat straight in there, and that's just going to moisten all those ingredients. Let's put 2 tablespoons, and we're finally ready to go. So lid on. And we're going to give that a really good blitz, and then I'm going to bring out my pressure cooker to start cooking this curry. So I'm cooking my duck curry in a pressure cooker. Quite simply, you get that beautiful slow cooked texture on the meat in 40 minutes instead of 2 hours, and that's why I love pressure cooking so much. So we're putting our curry paste straight in there. I've got it on the sear function to start with because we just want to cook all those raw ingredients, so all those shallots, all that garlic and the chili there, and I can start to smell that now. So while that's happening, I'll also get some other ingredients ready. I've got some star anise here. So I've got 2 star anise. Those are ready to go. Also, 2 kaffir limes I think are essential. And what I like to do is just roll them up and just finely slice them. Okay, so just like this. This is actually called chiffonading when we're doing it like this. And we can probably add these in now with our star anise. Give that a good stir. And this is non-stick here, so that is just coming off away perfectly. And I think we're about ready. So in with our beautiful duck legs. And we'll give that a really good stir. Make sure that we coat each individual leg with that curry paste there. Just like that, and we are ready to go. So 1/2 cup of coconut milk and 2 cups of chicken stock here. So that'll give us that rich gravy that we're looking for. Stir that really well. We're placing that on the pressure cooker function now, and we just let it cook away. So the duck has been cooking for 40 minutes. It's ready. It smells like a delicious curry in here. I've released the steam from the pressure cooker, so now we can open it up and let's have a look here. Yum! It looks delicious. And look at that. You can see the sauce is still, look at it, it's thick. It's lush, and I think that's what you get from cooking that in the pressure cooker. And you can see there's very little fat on the top of here, and that's because we rendered off the fat from the duck legs at the beginning. We'll just get some tongs and just place these duck legs straight in the centre. You can see the meat has shrunk just a little bit, revealing that bone there. This pressure cooker is quite large, so if you like, you could actually put 8 duck legs in here quite easily. And all that lush, rich sauce here, we'll take that out and just pour it straight over that duck just there. Oh, of course, it's not a Balinese dish without lots of rice on the side. So I've done a beautiful bowl of rice here, and I just wanted to show you, this is why I love pressure cooking. 40 minutes, and the meat, look here, the meat is simply falling off the bone, and it's tender and it's juicy. That's why I love it. Right, and to serve with this, a sambal, very classic in Balinese cooking. I've simply got a little bit of vegetable oil in a bowl along with 2 shallots again with some ginger. This is just like a really rough sauce, sort of to cleanse the palate, almost like a mini salad if you like. So we'll just microplane a little bit of that into the bowl. And different regions in Indonesia do different types of sambal. This is a very, very basic one. I think it's called, from recollection, sambal matah, which is M-A-T-A-H. So we're just going to roughly chop that, okay, along with the juice of some lime. So we'll cut that in half. So squeeze that out as much as you can. So again, this is not essential. I mean, the curry itself is just superb. But just for something a little bit extra, that little crunch on the top always works really well. And this is not traditional. I've got some cucumbers here, and what I like to do for presentation-wise is get a peeler and just peel some ribbons like so, just to freshen the whole thing up. We'll just pile that on our curry. And we'll get our sambal, make sure we get all that lime juice on the base there. And there you have it. Now, in my fast slow cooker, we've done this curry in 1 hour, and that's the beautiful thing in winter sometimes. Yes, it's amazing to do slow cooking, but if you can turn it around, 40 minutes, you get that tender meat. It's win-win every single time.
Yeah.